Hello and welcome to CJC Adventures. Cole here, and today I'm in Dudley in the Black Country in the good old English West Midlands, as I've come to the Wrens Nest. Now the Wrens Nest, the history of the place goes back millions of years, from Abraham Darby, who was a big figure of the Industrial Revolution, to fossils and limestone mining, and a lot of that mining is still visible and has scarred the landscape quite a bit. We're going to see that, and we're going to take a look around this wonderful place. It's very well looked after, it's very historic, and of course the millions of years that goes into preserving this wonderful place here in the Black Country, and we're going to see it now. So let's go and see what we can see. And it's a big welcome to the Wrens Nest National Nature Reserve, and it says the information of the dramatic limestone hills of Wrens Nest and Mons Hill have towered over Dudley for thousands of years. Today they form one of the country's best global nature reserves, dating back 420 million years, with origins in a warm, shallow sea. The rocks here feature abundant marine fossils, including the Dudley bug, a triobite which once appeared on the town's coat of arms. Most recently, quarrying has created the Seven Sisters caverns and exposed the spectacular ripple beds. To think about, all this area was under the sea at some point, so it's hard to think of today, but very true. It was under the sea, and they've actually found beaches underneath these steep hills of Dudley. And just actually coming up the hill, or to say around here a bunk, you can actually see the actual remnants of when they used to do the mining, and you'll always be able to see that. I don't think nature will actually ever take over it completely. You'll always find it somewhere. I mean, if you look up the hill, you can see where it's actually been all cut out because of the actual limestone mining. And of course it tells you about the wild rosinea, is it spelt? Yeah. And the common spotted orchids along with bee orchids. Now back in those days, many millions of years ago, they would have been a lot bigger, and it would have been literally something from Jurassic Park, if you like, if you actually see Jurassic World and the large insects in those films. It would have actually been like that. I mean, you'd have had them flying all around here, which is sort of hard to imagine now, but it would just be like seeing insects like you see today, but they'd be much bigger and much scarier, I imagine. Now, what I've actually thought about every time you come to this place, it's so unique, because it's where nature has took over things and never really covered, what would you say, man has actually taken its toll on the area. But it's made it what it is, and it's a very strange feeling to be here, especially if there's no one around. And what I actually like, I do actually like these signs that they put around these parts. You got the Dudley bug on there, and it's so put together well, and it's just nice to celebrate, isn't it? Going back all those years, and yeah, it's just nice to have a sign like that, shall we say, with a logo like a bug which was found in Dudley many millions of years ago. I suppose one deceiving thing that, well, this time of the year it's very cold, the ground is very frosty, and if you look at that, that is actual a bog, shall we say, a bog of water. Now if you fell into that, it would make a mess of you and your clothes, that would be no doubt about it. So, but looking at it, you do actually have to look to see that it's an actual water-based pool by looking at these steps, because with all the greenery all over it, you could be very deceiving. And I've just seen a robin going there, so yeah, it's good for nature, very good for nature. And we'll head this way, right up to the former part of industry. Now actually seeing this, it does actually really, I suppose I'm not the only one to be reminded that you feel like you're by the seaside somewhere, and of course, as I mentioned, Dudley was once under the sea, so that's probably why it does give you that feeling of you're by the sea, even though there's no sea. But because of the remnants, I mean, if you look at all these parts, what was basically just ravaged over the years, it's a sight to see. You imagine these were just flat hills, but of course they've all been dug out, and these are the remains of that part of history. And we've now got to the top of the Wren's Nest, and as you can see, all of this was extensively mined. And if you just look over to there, you would actually think it was by the seaside, wasn't you? You know, you wouldn't think it was only landlocked in Dudley in the Black Country. That does actually give you that impression that it's basically where we are is unbelievable. But these are the scars of mining industry, and of course these would be high hills if you look to the right and you just compare them where it's been cut out and you go down. You wouldn't have actually been able to go down there, you'd have been just going across. It'd have just been hills, because it's been ravaged by industry. This is what it actually looks like today. And if you actually look 100 years ago to now, it's, you know, what you would think and imagine, just hills, and now cut out because of industry and mining. So yeah, this is what makes this place what it is. And you got the ripples through time, and 428 million years ago, during the Suli-Iran period, the area was covered by a warm tropical sea within which life flourished. Now, how I know that? Because it tells you right there. So if anyone says Dudley isn't an old place, they're wrong. So yeah, marvellous place to be for history. I mean, every time I've come to this place, you know, I have to say, it's just, you know, you don't feel like you're in Dudley, you don't feel like you're in the Black Country. It's had so much you know, work done on it, and it's been so well preserved, and it's nice that the future generations can actually see a place like this, and it's just breathtaking at times. And again, I'm going to say it again, I don't feel like I'm in the Black Country. I really don't. It's just, it's lovely as well. If you ever get the chance, and just to walk here, you can bring your dog as well. So it's just, it's lovely. And if you ever take a look at the colours of the rocks, they've got that like sort of sandy colour. So you got like the limestone and so on. And of course, limestone was made to make many materials, including building all sorts of structures over the years. And one thing I like, what they've actually put here, is a sign saying no hammers, or ommers as you would say, around these parts, because obviously you like to keep the landscape as it is, don't you? You know, just keep it as it is, keep preserving it, and that's just nice. And obviously getting fossils yourself is going to damage the landscape, so just nice to admire things, and you know, nice to be respectful, of course. Some more information about fossil finding. I do still believe that they look for fossils around here, but you don't know what you're doing. Well, if you actually look at the side of that, that's where it was all cut out and put together, and I suppose a lot of money and a lot of jobs were created because of this place, and it makes you think, doesn't it, how much money was actually made because of the Wren's Nest and its industry. Another wonderful view. You could actually walk up there on the top, but I'm not going to recommend it to anyone, because obviously it'd be slippy and slidey this time of the year, shall we say. And just over that rise, you can just see there is the Seven Sisters Caves. Now we're going to pop over there in just a while and pay our respects to one of the largest of groups of caves in the world. So we're going to go over there in just a little bit. And it does tell you here that the forming of a ripple bed, and of course it was formed by man, and this is the ripple bed just along here, or what's left of it. Now, one of the things that does baffle me is you've got a little cottage there on its own. Now, somebody actually does live in that cottage, I believe, and you can walk past there, but of course, what a place to live in, overlooking all of this history. It's like having a cabin in the woods. Now heading back the way I came, and we're going to head back up the hill, back up the steps, and we're going to take a look at the Seven Sisters and what they're all about, and of course a little bit of history about the famous caves. It does actually make you think, has actually anybody ever fell into one of these dips and had to be rescued by the fire service? Because you really wouldn't never get out if you slipped down there. That would just be the end, really. But of course, people have mobiles now, don't they, to ring for help. Now, this is the one section that I really do like. It's absolutely beautiful. That is actually one of the Seven Sisters Caves. Now, they did have a cave-in, shall we say, a good few years ago now, and what they actually did with the Seven Sisters Caves, and they filled them in. But if you look just in the middle, just there, you can actually see an opening. So I don't think they actually really filled them all in, I just think they partly filled them in. But to think how dangerous those caves are, because many years ago all you had is short fencing around here. I mean, you've got all this steel metal fencing, so, and it does say there anti-climb paint as a caution there, so it is worth noting that the Seven Sisters Caves are beautiful, but obviously need to be very much respected, because nature has a way of hurting someone. So yeah, that's worth noting. Nice to look from a distance. That's what we need to do. It's always a good idea. And if you actually look all the way along this area, it does actually show you the extreme that they go to nowadays, just to let you admire it from a distance, and obviously not get too close. But years ago this wasn't like this. This is only short fencing. You could actually walk to the caves. So yeah, it's a good idea that this fencing is here. And that's another view of the first cave, and you can just see that opening just there. And that's my point. I don't think they really did fill them all in. They just partly filled them in. They could easily be dug back out again with the right tools, but again, it's just nature, isn't it? Just to see caves, and you know, respectful and nice just to see, but a very dangerous tourist attraction. And it does actually say there, in no part of England are more geological features broke together in compass than in environs of Dudley. They used some strange words, didn't they, back then? Hard to pronounce, aren't they? You know, perhaps it's the old-fashioned black country language. There's the Dudley bug. Not quite sure what that was. I don't know if you heard that. That was a bang up there. I don't know what it was. Now looking at the other side of the Seven Sisters caves, and you can see that one has been filled in. But to me, it looks as though you can just sort of run over that and just maybe climb into there. Obviously, that'd be the last thing you wanted to do. But that one is completely blocked up. You can actually see the bricks, which would take some moving, or you'd want to do that, would you? Be a big health and safety risk. And of course, all of these other caves of the Seven Sisters have been blocked. You can actually see a banging here somewhere. I've just heard that again. I don't know if it's birds or what it is. They are beautiful, these caves, and it's nice that industry of the Black Country has formed them into what they are, and the beauty of nature, of form rock by man and nature combined, shall we say. Yeah, beautiful place to come, this really is. And that is actually the other cave that obviously is all blocked up. But look at that rock. I mean, that's like limestone, isn't it? You know, the limestone around here must have been really rife with a really good source of just to dig for it and use it. It was just, it's mind-blowing, isn't it, that man can do this. But I mean, if you look back years ago, as I mentioned before, I mean, these gates weren't always here. This pathway wasn't always here, really. It was just put here just to look at, and for them to preserve the way they have. I mean, there's wardens around here. I've never seen no wardens, but I have been told there is wardens, the signposts as wardens, just looking after this area, and rightly so. And the information about the Seven Sisters and underground limestone mining began at the Seven Sisters around 1750. A tunnel which linked the deeper levels of the mines at the Seven Sisters was started by Lord Ward in 1775, and there are still vast number of tunnels which run beneath your feet, reaching some 100 metres down to a canal basin, and the basin is big enough to hold 21 boats at the same time. The narrowboats were used to transport the limestone out to customers along the canal network. It was very valuable and used primarily in the iron industry as a flux. So it's marvellous that where we are here was mined so excessively and goes so far down underground. It's unbelievable, isn't it? And here we are today, and we're part of history that we've seen it. It's wonderful. And that's it for today on CJC Adventures. It's been a wonderful day going round the Wrens Nest, the Seven Sisters, and seeing a bit of history of this area of Dudley in the Black Country in the good old English West Midlands. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. Click on the subscribe icon, then the bell, and you'll be notified when each video is uploaded. Please share the video and please leave a comment and I will reply back to every comment left. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. You're wonderful for choosing to tune in to CJC Adventures, and look after yourselves and each other. I'll see you very soon. Goodbye for now.